All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we're going deep on space exploration.
Ooh, exciting.
I know, right? Specifically, we're talking about NASA's upcoming mission to Europa.
Europa.
Yeah, one of Jupiter's moons.
Oh, right. Of course, I've heard of this.
So our source material today is, well, it's this YouTube video I found
Oh, yeah.
from this channel called FactBHAI.
FactBHAI, huh?
Interesting.
Yeah, and the video, well, it's titled NASA May Soon Find Life Here.
That sounds a bit,
Clickbaity.
Yeah, a little bit, I guess.
I know, I thought so too. But honestly, the premise of this video, it's actually really fascinating. We're talking about a place that just might be teeming with alien life. And
Oh, hold on. Alien life? Really?
yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
So the big question is, could Europa be the key to discovering we're not alone in the universe?
That's a big question indeed, and one that has puzzled scientists for centuries.
Totally. So why Europa? Out of all the moons and planets out there, why is NASA focusing on this one in particular?
Well, it all comes down to the potential for life. Okay, so life as we understand it, you mean?
Right. You see, Europa has this incredible subsurface saltwater ocean, and that's what's got everyone so excited.
An ocean, under the surface.
Yep, that's right. And, life on Earth, well, it originated in our oceans billions of years ago, so...
Oh, I see. So finding a moon with a massive saltwater ocean, it's like finding a potential cradle of life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why scientists are so interested in Europa. It's like peering back in time to the early days of our own planet.
That's incredible. But water alone isn't enough to support life, is it?
You're absolutely right. We also need energy and the right chemical ingredients.
So does Europa have those things too?
Well, that's what's so fascinating about Europa. It seems to have it all. The energy doesn't come from the sun like it does on Earth, though. It comes from Jupiter's immense gravitational pull.
Jupiter's gravity, how does that even work?
Well, as Europa orbits Jupiter, the giant planet's gravity, it constantly stretches and squeezes the moon.
Like a cosmic stress ball.
Kind of. And all this pushing and pulling creates friction within Europa, and friction generates heat.
So Jupiter is basically acting like a giant space heater, keeping Europa's ocean liquid.
You got it. And that heat isn't just keeping the water from freezing, it's also powering something called hydrothermal vents.
Hydrothermal vents, aren't those like underwater volcanoes?
Precisely. They're cracks on the ocean floor where hot water and minerals spew out from deep within Europa's core.
Okay, and why are those important?
Because they provide a constant supply of chemical building blocks. Things like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, the elements that form the basis of life as we know it.
Oh, wow. So we've got the water, the energy, the chemical building blocks. This is starting to sound like a pretty good recipe for life.
It certainly is promising, but there's still a lot we don't know. The big question is, how do we actually get down there to see for ourselves?
Right. It's not exactly a weekend trip to the beach.
Not quite. And that's where NASA's Europa Clipper mission comes in.
The Europa Clipper. Okay. Tell me more about this mission.
Well, it's pretty ambitious. The Clipper is set to launch in October 2024, and it's going to take roughly 7 years to reach Jupiter.
7 years? That's a long time.
It is, but space travel, it takes time. It's not a straight shot either. It's going to take a lot of complex maneuvering to get a spacecraft that far out into the solar system.
So how are they going to do it?
Well, the Clipper, they're going to use the gravity of Mars and Earth to kind of slingshot itself towards Jupiter.
Whoa, what? Slingshot?
Yeah, it's like a cosmic pinball machine using the gravity of planets to boost its speed.
That's incredible. So the Clipper will finally arrive at Jupiter, let's see, sometime in 2031.
Yeah, that's right. But it doesn't just dive straight into Europa's ocean.
Oh, right. There's that massive ice shell we have to get through.
Exactly. First, the Clipper has to enter Europa's orbit. And then, well, it's going to use a suite of instruments to study the surface and ocean.
So kind of like giving Europa a full medical checkup from space.
Exactly. And they'll be gathering data on gravity, temperature, the atmosphere, all sorts of things.
Sounds pretty thorough. But, the main event is getting beneath that ice, right?
Yeah.
How thick is it anyway?
That's one of the biggest challenges. The ice shell, it could be anywhere from 2 to 20 kilometers thick.
Wow. Seriously?
Yeah, and that's like trying to drill through Mount Everest, but made of ice.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense why this is such a challenging mission.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing NASA wouldn't be doing this if they didn't have a plan to get through that ice.
Oh, they definitely have a plan.
So what is it?
Well, they're developing some incredibly advanced technology for this mission. For example, they're working on something called cryobots.
Cryobots? What are those?
They're basically robots that are designed to melt through ice.
Oh, wow. Okay. So how do these robots work?
Well, the idea is that these cryobots, they would carry a swarm of smaller robots, like 48 micro-robots.
Wait, 48 tiny robots exploring an alien ocean? This is getting a bit much for me to process.
It is pretty mind-blowing.
Maybe we need to take a break to let this all sink in. We'll be back soon to continue our deep dive into this Europa Clipper mission. And we'll talk about, what they might actually find down there.
I can't wait.
48 tiny robots exploring an alien ocean. I mean, come on, that's straight out of science fiction.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
It really is. And it makes you think, how far we've come in our quest to answer the big question, are we alone in the universe?
That's the driving force behind so much of our space exploration, I think.
For sure. So let's talk about these robots, these micro-robots, I should say, swimming around in Europa's ocean. What are they going to be looking for? How do we even define life in a place that's so different from Earth?
That's a great question, and scientists are looking for what we call biosignatures.
Biosignatures, huh? What are those exactly?
Well, think of it this way. They could be specific chemical compounds or maybe patterns in how organic molecules are distributed.
Okay, I'm following so far.
Or even, the holy grail, direct observations of microbial life.
Actual microbes.
That's the dream, right? And remember those hydrothermal vents we talked about? On Earth, they support entire ecosystems that don't even need sunlight.
You're talking about chemosynthesis, right?
Yeah.
Where organisms use chemical energy instead of light.
Exactly. And we could find something similar around Europa's hydrothermal vents. Who knows?
It's a mind-blowing possibility, isn't it? Imagine we find even a single-celled organism. It would rewrite everything we thought we knew about life in the universe.
It would be a paradigm shift, for sure. Proof that life isn't a fluke, not just a one-time event limited to our little planet.
I mean, it's a long shot, right? Finding life on Europa?
Of course, it's a huge challenge, but that's what makes it so exciting. But even if, and this is a big if, even if Europa turns out to be lifeless, the mission won't be a failure.
Really? Why not?
Well, think about all the data the Clipper will gather about Europa's geology, its ocean, its history. It will be invaluable.
So even if we don't find aliens, we'll learn a ton about Europa.
Exactly. We might learn that it could support life in the future, or maybe it had life in the past. Who knows?
It's like heads we win, tails we win.
I like that. That's a great way to put it.
But, there's always going to be those critics, right? People who say this mission is too expensive.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
They'll say we should be focusing on problems here on Earth.
It's a valid concern, of course. We do have a lot of issues to address here at home.
Yeah, so how do you respond to those critics?
Well, I think it's important to remember that exploring the universe, it's not just about finding aliens or satisfying our curiosity. It's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
It's about inspiring future generations, right? Those future scientists and engineers and thinkers.
Exactly. And think about the technology being developed for this mission. The cryobots, those micro-robots, the navigation systems.
That's all cutting-edge stuff.
It is. And who knows, these innovations, they might have applications here on Earth, too.
I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. Maybe they'll help us explore our own oceans or develop new energy sources or even combat climate change.
So this mission, it's about more than just Europa. It's about pushing the boundaries of human ingenuity.
It really is. It's about what we can achieve when we set our minds to something truly ambitious.
This mission really does feel like a giant leap for humanity.
I think so, too.
But there's another part of this deep dive that we need to talk about, connecting the Europa Clipper mission to the broader search for life beyond Earth, looking beyond just Europa.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's time we zoom out and look at the bigger picture.
That's a great idea. Let's do it. Okay, so we've spent a lot of time talking about Europa and this upcoming mission, but I think it's time we step back a bit.
You mean look at the bigger picture?
Exactly. The search for life beyond Earth, it's not exactly a new idea, is it?
No, not at all. I mean, people have been fascinated by this question for centuries.
Yeah, we've been scanning the skies, listening for signals, sending probes to other planets, all hoping to find, even a hint that we're not alone.
And yet, nothing definitive.
Right. And that's kind of discouraging when you think about it.
Right. I can see how it could be, yeah.
I mean, we have all this technology, all these resources, and still we haven't found proof of another life form out there.
It really makes you realize how vast the universe is.
Doesn't it? And it makes you wonder, are we even looking in the right places?
Maybe not. I mean, think about it. We're basing our search on our understanding of life as we know it, life on Earth.
Right, but what if life out there is completely different?
Exactly. What if it doesn't need water or oxygen?
What if it exists in forms we can't even imagine?
That's the thing. We're trying to find something that we may not even recognize.
It's like searching for a needle in a haystack, but we don't even know what the needle looks like.
That's a good way to put it. It's a huge challenge, but that's also what makes it so exciting.
I guess so, yeah.
Every new discovery, every piece of data, it brings us closer to understanding what's really out there.
It's all about pushing the boundaries of knowledge.
Exactly. The Europa Clipper mission is a perfect example of that.
We're learning how to look, how to ask the right questions, how to explore these extreme environments.
And even if we don't find any, let's say, little green men swimming around in Europa's ocean.
Which, let's be honest, is probably the most likely outcome.
Probably, yeah. But even then, the mission will be a success.
Oh, so?
Because we will have learned so much in the process. It's about the journey, the process of discovery.
And that's something that's often overlooked. I think people want immediate results.
They do. But science, real science, it takes time, it takes patience, and sometimes it takes a bit of faith.
Faith in what?
Faith in our ability to figure things out, to keep asking questions, to never stop exploring.
I have to say, this whole conversation has been really inspiring.
It's given me a renewed sense of wonder about the universe, that's for sure.
Me too, and I hope our listeners are feeling the same way.
I hope so too.
It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day, but then you have a conversation like this, and it reminds you that there's so much more out there, so much we don't know.
And so much to discover.
Who knows, maybe one day, years from now, we'll look back at this Europa Clipper mission and say, that's where it all started.
Where we took our first real step towards becoming a multiplanetary species.
Exactly. That's a future worth striving for, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's been a fantastic deep dive, and I, for one, can't wait to see what we find.
Me neither. And until next time, keep looking up, keep questioning, keep exploring, because who knows what's waiting to be discovered out there.